Oh, yeah, this shit is so fun.
It looks fucking horrible.
It's awful, but it's so fun.
If this doesn't get you ramped up for a podcast,
Woo!
Hey there! Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Coming to you from the Recyclegarage. Where do you say? In sunny Santa Cruz, California! Whoop whoop! Is that too much?
No, I think that was perfect, Liza.
I got to do the anyway.
You know, restraint has always been one of your strongest suits.
I know. She could teach a
can't
master's
tell
class in
if you-
patience.
Yeah. well-
She could teach a master's class in baiting.
That's Scott's job.
I don't know. There's that chapter in the book, but that's another story.
Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Liza. Hey, I'm happy to be here. What another great weekend.
It was.
And this is the weekend before all the next great weekends coming. So
True.
We got a whole
Very
month
true.
of them coming
Oh
up.
my gosh,
Yeah, they're just
I
one
know,
after
I
another.
know. So filling in. So you remember Stumpy John used to be our stunt misfit, and then he became a real misfit. Now we're back. We got some stunt misfits.
He's back to stunting. Yeah, he's stunting.
Because now he's not feeling well. He's got a cough. So I'm like, just stay away.
Right.
But he's okay.
He's got that Pakistani COVID-urea.
We don't know. Well, you know what does happen when you do come back from places like Pakistan? You are sneezing black goo for about 2-3 weeks. That's just because of riding behind trucks
dirt-
and the
the
diesel
exhaust and
and
all-
exhaust fumes and stuff.
Okay.
So it does take a while to get that out of your system. But
However, I have a new nickname for John.
no,
Yes.
no.
CTD.
What's that?
Crash test dummy.
I didn't hear any of the details. That's why I was hoping John would be here tonight. I want to hear that.
He crashed into a bloke. I mean, oh, God.
And we will get all of those stories.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw
next
the
week.
picture with the mountain.
But let's start with who's here. A stunt misfit filling in. It's Patrick.
Hello there.
this
Patrick on the
your-
horn.
Second time?
Third time, I think.
Third time.
Yeah.
Your official stunt misfit status.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining
He's the
us.
lead-off.
Thank
The
you.
lead-off misfit.
Exactly. On the classy girl couch tonight, looking all so sultry eyes and stuff. It's Miss Emma.
Aloha, darlings. And today I decided to ride Rufus. So I'm wearing my Suzuki shirt because one has to represent, doesn't one?
Now tell everyone what you said today, because I'm calling you out.
On what?
What?
On what?
Dividing the garage. If you're not with us, you're against us. What
Well,
did
no.
you do? What did you do?
Oh, it sounds like we're going to
Emma?
rumble.
What did you do?
So it was
get my
a
chain.
simple tactic that I wanted to employ to see if it worked, and it worked like a charm. So I picked a group of people who I know would be sympathetic, and I said, who amongst this group thinks that Rufus is just the most drop-dead gorgeous motorcycle? And of course, 3 hands out of the 4 went up.
Patrick was slow.
Oh, but I see.
He was slow.
I was at the start when she pulled
No.
up. I was like, oh my god, that bike
So
is
I knew he was
fantastic.
sympathetic. So then,
But I didn't know who Rufus was.
Liza, of course, was, and
I
not necessarily against, but just
Contrarian, maybe.
I don't think it's,
vacillating.
I don't think it's the best looking motorcycle in the world, but I'm somewhat
Blasphemy.
indifferent to it.
but indifferent. So I
then
turned to
she-
Liza
Says,
and I
says
said,
the KLR owner.
She turned.
I turned
Hey,
and
I'm
I
a
said,
KLR owner,
so
too."
now you are a Rufus hater, are you not?
A rafer.
She said 3-1, you lose. I'm like, wait.
No, you use the term lose.
Oh,
Did you get to hit her with a stick after we ever got to hit her with sticks?
I'm just saying.
No, I was just kind of employing a technique to see if it worked, and it kind of did. It's really quite troubling.
She's just being divisive.
Taking a cue.
I can be divisive occasionally, but I'm really very sweet in other ways.
Like that taco you
when
just
it
had.
serves your need.
Or when you're helping me with my Africa twin, so thank you for that.
Oh no, you're very welcome, darling.
Also on the classy girl couch, it's Scott.
Long time since I've been down here.
Yeah.
Came down on the coast today on a Harley. Change of pace.
Yeah.
It's good.
Nice. And then joining us straight from the day in the dirt.
Day in the
it's
dirt.
Naked Jim.
Hey, nice to be here. Dirt bikes are cool.
Yeah,
If
they
you
are.
don't ride them, you may want to check them out.
I love your dirt bike. I hate the seat though. I just don't know. Like, do you build up like the pucker. Like
Yeah, I've been doing Kegels for quite a while now. Yeah,
basically.
focused Kegels.
So-
called Kegels.
I'm actually going to apologise to everybody listening right now, and actually it's Jim's fault. So Jim has brought in this delicious candy
I'm chewing one right
that
now.
is it's like gummy. It's a gummy candy and very
Gummy,
sweet,
gummy.
but it's made in the shape of Mexican food.
Like a
So
Mexican.
right now I've got to open this little cellophane packet.
Well, mine over here is tacos and pizza. So
yeah,
it's
no,
not
mine.
just Mexican.
Oh,
food.
you've got pizza.
Yeah.
Well,
and
no,
cheeseburgers.
this is actually a multi-piece taco.
My favorite. It is multi-piece taco, and they have the Mexican corn.
Oh,
gummy.
God.
I'm sorry to break in, but
Oh,
I actually
sorry, I hit Scott.
I have breaking news. Can someone
Yes.
give me the breaking news sound effect?
Beep, 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 beep.
Breaking news. I just got notification from our good friend Morgan Vetter, who has been down at Laguna Seca. There were actually races this weekend in
That is
preparation
true.
for the upcoming races. And he said, Yuri podium today, so he wanted me to make sure you knew that.
Right on. Yeah. What did he podium in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But every time he wins,
Fast
he
bikes.
sends me pictures of his award. So Yuri, congratulations. Yes,
Yuri
he
Vetter.
said,
Yeah, well done, Yuri.
he just wanted to make sure I knew.
Well, I would like to know when Yuri
Oh,
podiums.
God.
Especially at Laguna
my
Seca,
God.
his home track. How exciting.
I think the corn gummy is flavored like real corn. Oh God!
And does it have like that Mexican cheese on it? And the little
Yes,
Would you
Oh,
would you
red
say
shit.
that was a mistake eating that?
yes. I think it was a huge mistake,
Like-
which is the theme of our show.
You're not going to stop, though. That's the best
look
part.
At that. Look at that worked out. The theme of
Oh God, that
today's
is
show.
Oh, I'm going to be sick.
Oh, there's a fucking chili pepper in here too.
Oh, I'm not touching that.
Here's a bag.
I'm gonna slip it in your kulu.
The theme
Kulu.
of today's show is mistakes and lessons learned.
Yes.
So I was, and this came. I got this idea last night. I was driving
Right.
up Highway 9 to Felton to go to dinner with my family. I'm driving my SUV. Highway 9 is a 2-lane double yellow line,
Right.
Twisty fun.
twisties through the redwoods. But it's
And-
people do like 35 miles an hour.
But it can be a relatively fast road if you allow it, can't it?
Right, but
You could
but I
book
think the
along on
speed
it.
limit is like 35, maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe
It depends
40,
on cars,
So,
like every
just taking my time going up there, and I was behind another car, which my mom keeps telling me I drive too close, but I'm like, we're doing 35, and I'm like 3 car lengths away. I think that's like, I'm not feeling like I'm on their ass, you know?
Well, I've also never known you to admit being a poor driver. So
That's true.
We will assume you
So,
were correct.
Based on her own assumptions.
so I heard a couple motorcycles come up behind me. And as somebody myself who has ridden up there on fast bikes, I was like, oh, I hope they don't try and pass. There are very few sections that have a long enough straightaway that you can safely pass. And some
Right.
of them go past a parking lot, which makes it not safe.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a no-go. Usually once you get behind a car, you're stuck.
Yeah, you just look at the scenery. It's beautiful. Right?
So, and I heard that familiar sound of one of the bikes start to spool up. I'm like, oh no. And we were on a short straightaway. So he comes up passing me, and I think these were 2 like ninjas, maybe. And he had, the backpack passenger hanging on,
Oh, gosh.
and cuts in front of me and just cuts right in front of me and gets in between me and the car in front. I don't know if they realized there was a car in front of me. So I'm like, oh, you idiot, because now we're coming up to a turn. You know that turn that has the outlook on the right?
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a pretty sharp left
Yes.
turn, right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, his fellow companion starts, as I'm entering the turn, starts to pass. And I'm like, no, don't do this. And comes up alongside me. We're now in the turn. His buddy now has not vacated that spot, so there's nowhere for him to go. And now he's alongside me through the turn. And I was honking my horn and screaming, you're an idiot.
I thought you would have reached your hand out and turn his bike off and take
You
the
know
keys.
what? It was really disappointing. Of
No,
course,
it's a
my
bummer.
mom is freaking out. The driver in front just pulled over into the first and was like, I'm
out, yeah.
I'm out. I don't want nothing to do. That was a bad move. They saw they were being nuts. I wanted to keep following them to their destination and have a conversation, but we had to go to dinner. We had a reservation.
Okay.
But it reminded me, I'm like, that could have been the biggest mistake of their life.
Well, And it could be the last mistake of their lives.
And I was so mad. And then I remembered I've done that.
Well, and yeah. Well, it's motorcycling. I commute every day, and there's weird stuff happens every day. But one of the most dangerous things that's happened lately, I wasn't lane splitting. I was going by the reservoir on 17. Traffic's going maybe 50. I'm going with traffic, but I'm kind of in the middle, so I can see down the middle. And it started slowing, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to kind of get into the middle and start lane splitting, probably doing about 40. And always use my turn signal, just in the habit. And I'm also always in the habit, just glance over. So as I turn signal, start glancing over, this fucking fucktard on a Harley comes blowing by me, probably doing like 75, right? Like a foot away. So if I had not maybe used my turn signal or not glanced for a second, I probably would have moved into the center lane to start lane splitting, and he would have rear-ended me at like 80. But it's like, people, like, come on, like. But it's motorcycling. That shit happens.
Emma, can you make the sound again?
Which one?
Breaking news. Hey, breaking news. Bagel has just joined us.
Oh, it's the Bagel.
Bagel.
I see him on the screen.
Greetings.
Oh,
Fresh off the road.
nice shirt, Bagel.
I like
Oh,
it.
thank you. It's very stylish.
When Bagel comes on, you should do what's the booby sound? Motorboat. When Bagel comes on, you have to do the motorboat sound. That's it. Scott, shove your face in Emma's breast and start motorboat. No,
Yeah, do the motorboat.
for sound
Alex.
effects.
There's a camera.
So,
Were you motorboating today, Bagel? Were you, darling?
No,
I bet
was
you wish you
motor-scootering.
were.
No, not really.
I heard the rain stopped and the weather got better. Is that true?
It got hotter, that's for sure.
Okay.
It was 102 degrees on I-5 this afternoon.
Whoa, that's hot.
Yeah, and that's not including the heat coming off the asphalt.
So Bagel, we just started.
But I made it.
We just started the topic. So again,
Yeah.
as these people made this bad mistake, and I said, well, I've done that, and I thought, you know what? It's good to share our mistakes and our lessons learned. There are mistakes made while riding, mistakes made while renting on bikes, mistakes made buying and selling bikes. Even I don't know. Maybe you guys all have different stories, but I'll share in lieu of that story of somebody going around the curve next to me in a blind corner, idiot. I did that once, and I was at the time I was riding my Ducati 900 SS, plenty of power in that thing, and we were going up to Alice's and going up up through La Honda, where again similar situation, not a lot of straightaways, but when you know your bike and you know the road, there are certain sections you can jump quickly and pass a car. Even though you're not allowed to, it's a double yellow, acknowledging that. But with knowing the bike. So we had been riding and passing, and then I had traded bikes with a friend who had the then new BMW F650. It wasn't the GS, it was the...
Just the F. The
F650.
Funduro.
Yeah, the
Funduro.
Right. And I'm like, ooh, this looks like fun. And
AKA Funduro.
so then we take off riding, and she's on my bike, and now we're passing cars again. And I go to pass a car, I see my opportunity, lay on the throttle, I'm starting to pass. I get up alongside the car, and there's nothing left. There's absolutely nothing. Out of power. And I'm coming up to a turn. So I'm faced with the decision. Do you kind of, back off the throttle and let them pass and try and drop back in? But I have bikes behind me. So I don't know if they're spooling up. You don't know what's going on. So I just decided to hold my line, and we're going into a turn, and here comes a car.
Ooh.
So I just stayed on the line, held my speed, just riding alongside the car, and just split between them.
Italian style.
Yeah. And was
some
just
more.
like, oh, that was a bonehead move.
You know what we call that in England? A pant-filling moment.
Pant-filling moment,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Pant-filling moment.
Filler.
Yeah, because when you're in a turn, you're leaning, and that car seems to come pretty close to you.
The mirror.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
I scared everyone else, probably more than me.
Well, you scared me listening to it.
Yeah. So I've done it. That was a bad decision. I didn't know the bike well enough to know what it could do. So I just wanted to see what other stories you guys have of mistakes.
Can I point out the lessons we learned from that one?
Yeah.
If you don't know what your bike can do, don't try the move.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've got a story about riding. I mean, it's God. I mean, I've made mistakes riding, buying, wrenching, all of the above. But it goes to the back to really the very early. No, don't pull a face like. Don't do that, Jim. Now you see, look, that's exactly what happened. You try and be clever, and it's going to go in somebody's eye. Now look, so. It goes back to the very, very early days of when they were putting disc brakes on bikes. And in the very early days of disc brakes, there was a big sticker on the fork and saying, the performance of this disc brake is going to be different in the wet. What they really should say is it's not going to work in the wet. And so, of course, you're used to your bike and you're thinking, oh, this is great. And then it's pouring down with rain. You think, oh, I've still got to go to the pub. So you jump on your bike. And you come to a roundabout or an intersection and the brake's wet, and you grab the front brake, not paying heed to the sticker on the fork, and you realise that you actually go faster when you pull on the brake, and you just rocket through the intersection, bounce off the side of a taxi, and like, oh, fuck, wasn't expecting that. And, doing it once is... okay, but doing it multiple times because you forget just how bad these brakes were in the wet. And the same with tyres. You always forget how shitty old tyres were in the wet. Yeah. And so, you stuff into the corner and then immediately fall off. And you're sitting in the road crying because, my leg hurts, my arm hurts. Your bike's a mangled wreck by the side of the... because you'd forgotten.
About the sticker.
Yes, about the sticker. And about how terrible the tyres were. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot. I feel, even though the bikes are faster now, there's a lot fewer opportunities to make a total arsehole of yourself these days.
The rubber's a lot better, like you say.
Yeah, the actual quality of machinery is better now. So, the opportunity to end up looking like a total ass is perhaps less. Perhaps more. I don't know.
I think it's the same. It's just now it's more human error than it is machine error.
Yeah, and perhaps you're just gonna make a complete idiot of yourself in a slightly different method.
Yeah.
But you're still going to end up sitting in the middle of the road with a broken bike.
You're going to blow a turn like I've blown turns because it's like, oh my God, I came in way too hot,
right.
And I don't understand how much I can really brake or lean this thing over. So you just bomb it through.
And to be fair on you. And, I'm saying this from a place of fondness because everybody will say, oh, MH KLR 650s.
Oh, no, yeah.
But KLR 650s are not, they're kind of awkward. They carry their weight high.
They're notoriously weak brakes.
Like feeble forks. And they're kind of...
Yeah, feeble forks, thin wheels. Like, yeah.
They are awkward handling bikes.
They take a different perspective to ride that bike compared to some other bikes.
Right. Having said that, now throwing you under the bus, having done some miles on it, you should know how crappy the handling is by now.
And I do. And I get on that bike after riding other bikes, and I'm like, oh my God, this bike, I forgot how shitty it was. That bike was out of that bike was out of commission for 2 months because I was working on the valves and the clutch and all this other shit. And I got back on it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how bad the brakes were on this bike.
No.
Like, I gotta think about where I'm gonna stop this bike long before I get to that fucking stopping point.
Yep.
The KLR is Rudy to football. Rudy. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Should I know this?
The movie Rudy?
Should I know this?
You're alone, Liza.
Yeah. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw that movie years ago. So.
I vaguely remember the movie, but I don't understand the reference.
It's trying really hard, but it's not great at what it does.
Is like the water boy?
No, so...
It's about what... Is the subject matter about what you Americans call football?
Yes, American football.
That too, yeah.
And this was Notre Dame football team. And this guy was too small to make the team, but he never gave up. So he was on the practice team, and he took a beating, but he never gave up. And then they finally let him play because he had so much heart. And that's what I think the KLR is like. It just never gives up.
I thought you were going to say let him play after the shower scene.
That too.
Oh, look, I'm sorry.
So, Scott, I'm just curious because you are well, now it's not MSF, but you're an instructor.
Yeah.
An instructor. You probably see a lot of mistakes on the. Where do you guys do this in a parking lot? Where do you do it?
It's parking lots.
So
yeah,
you
it's
probably see
off-road.
a lot of beginners make mistakes. What's some of the mistakes you've seen?
I'm thinking back to Father's Day weekend riding with Reed and Ben, and I didn't mention this earlier, but Reed, I'm going to call you out, went off the road, off one, on the 650 Ninja, and just landed in some soft, like eucalyptus duff, right? Nothing was broken, rider nor bike. But, I see him, like, going wide on the turn, and it's the same thing with beginners on the range. Not looking where you're going to go or not looking far enough ahead. And like your story about on the Funduro, we know what's around the corner. If you're really familiar with 9, right, you know what's around every single corner, but you don't know what's around that corner this time.
Right.
And so when I'm riding with Ben, going to call out Ben too, my 19-year-old. I'm trying to keep him out of the wolf packs. And it's like, you get your follow up close there. It's like, got to give yourself reaction time. Don't ride where you can't see. And if that corner is a blind corner, well, you better, roll off and give yourself time to see what is around that corner this time.
And go wide to give you a better line of sight.
Yeah, stay wide until you see the apex. Yeah.
And that's the hallmark of good roadmanship. I mean, you can ride a corner 1,000 times, and the 1,001st time you go around the corner and there's a car broken down in the middle of the road.
Or some gravel.
Or some gravel.
Or tree
or
fall. Or
a dog.
Or a deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a bloke. If you're
bloke.
Stumpy John, there's a bloke in the road.
Oh no!
Poor dude is coming home with some curry.
Got T-boned by John.
Carice, what happened? You would not believe it. Says Stumpy American. You like my accent?
So, Scott, have you ever had any students that were just unteachable?
Very few. Everybody learns at a different rate, but there have been a very few. Notably, there was one back in Minnesota that my fellow instructor and I referred to as the Hindenburg.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Awesome.
What, by shape or just by...
I better not say anything incriminating, but I'm not going to deny that.
Okay.
Well, first you shouldn't have said where it was. What, you can't say anymore?
This is so long. This is decades ago.
Yeah. Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah, so, okay.
Spill the beans. Statute of limitations
It
is
was
up.
a student who just, could not follow the instructions to see, be aware of your surroundings, where the other bikes are, where the exercise is. She was just not really present, even after I think she went through the class 4 times. And
Wow.
like we say now, motorcycling is not for everybody. And for those who it is okay for, people learn at different rates. And so it might take a couple tries, a few tries. But at some point, if it's not clicking, then you just got to kind of look at the risk management things like, maybe this isn't a good idea.
But hang on, Scott.
Okay.
You kind of answered your own question before it was asked, because you said she wasn't able to follow instruction. Because I know you CSMP guys, it's very methodical. It's a proven method. If you follow the instructions, you're going to learn how to ride a bike.
It is a process-based curriculum. It is not a product-based curriculum.
Right.
So at any point in the process of learning, if the learner isn't at the place that they need to be for the next exercise, and we deem that it's not safe for them to continue, then we counsel them out with some advice. Hey, we need to come back and work on the basics more, or here's what you're not doing that we need you to do, which could be they're having difficulty following instructions, but it also could be that, they're just saturated for the day.
Right. And I mean, there is a certain amount of dexterity. I mean, I know you guys talk a lot about the friction zone. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just the simplest thing, something that's very, very simple for all of us, is just to engage the clutch and throttle in such a way that you actually pull away and don't stall the bike, and conversely, you don't accelerate into the side of a Ford Taurus at 1,000 miles an hour. You want somewhere in the middle where you just kind of accelerate away smoothly. And that in itself is a very, very, I'm not going to say a difficult task to master, but it certainly requires a certain amount of skill, dexterity, balance. thought process.
A lot of the curriculum, historically is based on a photographic task analysis of what motorcyclists do. To take a rapid corner, for example, is one of the peak skills, and all the little pieces, being in the right gear, being able to shift while you're heading for this corner, braking the right place, the right amount, looking the right place, making the motorcycle lean the right amount, knowing how much to roll on the throttle. It's a capstone thing. But there's all the little pieces, this building block process we have in the curriculum that make that up.
Yeah, very good.
So I made a mistake today, and Ellie was the better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ordered a headlight modulator for my Africa Twin.
Ah.
And I ordered the wrong one.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm partly to blame, but I'd forgotten, because it's been a long time since I laid my hands on an Africa Twin. They've got LED headlight bulbs, so they're amazingly hard to get to, because they don't need to be easy to get
tiny.
to.
They're just like forever bulbs.
Because they're like forever
there.
bulbs. And when you do a headlight modulator on an Africa Twin, number one, you need to get one specific for LEDs.
Yeah.
Right. But number two, you don't actually attach it onto the back of the headlight bulb like every other bike in the world. You just find the power source for the headlights. And I think that's in the left-hand fairing pocket. And you just plug it in there.
So I did some quick research online. What kind of bulb does Africa Twin have? And I found replacement bulbs that were H4s, which is common. So I'm like, that must be it. So I bought the H4 kit. And so then taking apart that Africa Twin is a pain in the butt. Then realized, it won't work. So then I was like, Ellie, you have got a cruiser with a single beam of light. I showed her the video of what it does, and she was like, yeah, would love it. So anyway, I feel good. She won, but good. I didn't do enough research on what my bike takes. So,
and I'm as guilty of this now. You've got to be very, very careful about dates. And I mean, let's say you're doing a repair on a late model bike. Right now, I've got a 2020 R1 on the ramp for a very extensive crash damage repair. It's about $7,000 in parts. Oof. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm absolutely terrified, not by doing the repair, but making sure that every single color-coded part is correct. But going back to your dilemma, Liza, the Honda Africa Twin does indeed take H4 bulbs, but the Gen 1 Africa Twin from 1989.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that take H4s.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, Patrick, how about you? Made any mistakes lately?
Oh, many mistakes.
Yeah, you want to share any?
In terms of wrenching, like one of the mistakes that I've made in the past, this isn't more of a recent one, where I made this a long time ago, misdiagnosing the problem. So you just start throwing parts at it. Like, oh my God, I thought I had like a starter relay go out. So buy a starter relay, buy, fuses, buy this, that, and everything else in between. 6 months later, come to find out, it was a wire that was grounding on the frame. So now I have a box full of spare starter relays and spare fuse blocks and spare cables and all this stuff. And it's like, well, I've got it. These will probably never fail on me, but I've got that spare part. And months and months of throwing parts at it.
Right.
So this is the challenge I found with wrenching on bikes. And some people disagree with me on this. Is like, I like to take it apart and then figure out what's wrong with it, then buy the part I need. Don't start buying parts until I get, in some cases like the case off or something, if that's the issue.
Though, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's my experience with mechanics, most oftentimes they take a guess and say, just get the part, let's start replacing parts. Because when you add in bench fees,
yes,
right.
Now it tips the scale.
It depends.
You don't have the time to dig in.
Well,
you just replace
it depends on where you're at. It's like if you're a professional mechanic, it's maybe different. For me, it's like
exactly.
I can let the bike sit for 3 months.
Right.
Then it just becomes a question of how long am I willing to let that bike sit, and how frustrated am I going to get while I'm waiting for parts to go find an alternative replacement.
And of course, like every other shop, I'm short of real estate. So even if I've got a big job in like an engine build, I can't have it stinking up the workshop for months because
Right.
I haven't got the
Right.
room for it. So,
You have to take a guess of like, these are the parts I need.
well,
to
you know,
at least try to get the thing back online, and maybe if I need one or two more along the way,
yeah,
I've got
and I mean,
80% of what I need to do the job.
over the years, I've accumulated sufficient parts that I keep in stock for a
Right.
lot of jobs.
Right.
Like, if you look at my parts, I've got Triumph gasket kits, I've got BSA gasket kits for complete builds, I've got Norton gasket kits, I've got piston rings, shells, valve guides, couple of valves,
Right.
and that's going to cover 90% of engine rebuilds.
Yeah.
Now, if you have something that's suffered a spectacular failure, now you need to do maybe cranks, sludge traps, oil pumps. You ever have an engine problem, always replace the oil pump. People forget the oil pump. Poor little oil pump, all that junk in the engine has been sucked through the oil pump. So, and you know, most of this I kind of keep for that reason. But I'm a huge advocate. You got a problem, you pull it down, you find out what you need, and then you buy accordingly.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
So I once made a big mistake that, fortunately for my bike, was not a didn't. It can be a lot worse on other bikes, and Emma will understand in a second. On my CB750, my 72 CB750, I over tightened the drain plug bolt.
I've done that.
That's a common one, though, right?
done
That's a
that,
big
yeah.
one.
Fortunately, on the CB750, it has a pan.
yes,
It's not the case.
yes.
So you can replace the pan.
Well, that's not the
Yep.
case.
So
So on that one, is the helicoil fix good
And
or
I-
bad?
Yeah, no, a helicoil's fine. A helicoil's always fine
Yeah.
as long as you do them
Right,
correctly.
right.
See, I've made this mistake many times. My KLR, I can't count the amount of helicoils that are in that bike because
Yeah.
the first one was the oil pan,
Well-
where it was like I over torqued it, and I was like, oh shit, one day, and I went to do my oil, and I was like, uh-oh, and then got to get a truck to load it
And-
on, and a mechanic had to put a helicoil in it. I've done it on the head bolts. I've
Right.
done it on cam cover bolts, all over the place in that engine. And that's where it took me a long time to realize like the value of a torque wrench.
I just bought 3
Oh,
torque
yeah.
wrenches.
And just like, hey, like
awesome.
at least get me a feel on the torque wrench before I start trying to, because of course, and I see this all the time in my own job too, where it's like tighter is better, and it's like not always, not
So-
in an aluminum
Nope.
case.
Would you like to see
Tighter-
my
tighter is
torque
great
wrench,
until it's
Patrick?
not.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
show it to me.
Made in England. Very visual joke.
So I'll share with you my temporary fix until I got a new pan, which will probably make Emma cringe, or maybe not. Maybe you'll think that it was smart. There are replacement plugs that have a plug in the plug. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
So I JB welded the big plug in and then used the small plug to drain the oil.
No, that's really
The only
good.
problem being that I was told if I sold the bike to somebody and they didn't know that, they're going to stick a wrench onto the big plug and try and take it out that is JB welded in.
But that's
So-
that's a legitimate
creative.
repair method. I've seen
So-
it in
Yeah.
all kinds of industries.
Let-
you just
let-
put a bigger
works.
plug and then the smaller one in between.
Let's talk a little bit about JB Weld, if that's okay, Liza.
Oh, because that is
Love that
many
stuff.
mistakes are fixed by JB Weld.
So
Great
you would
stuff.
be surprised how many Ducati monsters and hyper motards come in with broken crankcases. And the reason they have broken crankcases is the side stand, which is the only stand, what you Americans insist on calling the jiffy stand,
I've never heard that.
is
Nope.
no, you never heard that?
Never heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kickstand.
Kickstand
Yeah.
is bolted directly to the engine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Now,
I've heard about that.
if you keep the bolts tight, you're golden because one bolt passes through the frame, the other bolt bolts directly into the engine. The problem occurs when the bolt that passes through the frame backs off a little bit. Now you've got a little bit of flex in that side stand, in the kickstand. If you drop the bike, and you don't have to be going fast, or the last one I had in I felt so sorry for him. He was almost in tears. He was a very, very young soldier who was coming over to study at DLI in Monterey.
Yep.
And he brought his Ducati with him, and he had it in a trailer. And he tied it down very, very hard in the trailer. Sufficiently
on the
hard
kickstand.
that the kickstand broke the crankcase. And all the oil came out because there's a lug. And it breaks.
So he tied it down with the kickstand down?
Yeah, well, as one. And it went over a bump and just crack. And he brought it to me, and I said, well, and here's the point of the whole talk. The proper repair is to obviously have it welded back on.
Yeah.
That's the proper repair. However, when you factor in getting it clean enough to weld, making sure the weld isn't porous, making blah, 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 often it's not cost effective. And so what the JB Weld way to do it, and there is an actual JB Weld way to do it, is you lay the bike on its side so all the oil, even if the oil's drained, there's always a residue, falls to the other side of the engine. And you leave it like that for a week. So that it gets all the oil drains completely away from the repair. Now you get in there with degreaser, with brake cleaner, you get that as clean as possible. Both pieces. And you leave it for another week for everything to dry out.
I also recommend using your partner's toothbrush to really...
Oh, yes, but don't tell them.
Yes.
That's the important thing. And you can substitute toothbrush for, a nail brush. What I find particularly effective, those little scrubbies you do the dishes with. But again, it's very important that you don't tell your partner that you're using kitchen or toilet utensils to work on your motorbike. That's part of the...
that sounds like another mistake we got to circle back to, Emma.
Well, actually, because what color sponge for which scrubbing? Like the red or the green?
Exactly.
What for which?
So, and then when you've done the oil and the JB Weld, you mix up the JB Weld exactly. I mean, absolutely to the right amount. You do the repair, clamp it, and leave it for another week. And that's kind of the correct way to do it. Okay, your bike's going to be on its side for 3 weeks. And as a shop, I'm not allowed to do that.
Right, because that's a lot of real estate, too.
Well,
That's the
and on
liability.
top of that,
All the
professional
liability
liability.
issues.
Yeah.
it's not really, it's a legit repair, but it's not a legit repair. So I
Not
always
a professional
talk,
repair.
Right, I always talk the owner through it and said, this is what you need to do exactly.
Yeah.
And so we go back to that young soldier. And that's how he fixed his bike. He followed my instructions completely, and he's still riding it. And he's got another 5,000 miles out of it.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
So, I mean, JB Weld is a legit repair in some cases. And in the case of an oil pan, even a helicoil, Yamaha are very, very reasonably priced with their oil pan. If you want to buy an oil pan for an R6, it's only about $30. So now you've got to ask yourself, $30 for an oil pan or $15 just for the kit?
Right. Well, then
For
you
the
got to
helicoil.
get the angle right and all
And
that
get the
stuff.
angle
Yeah.
right. So you know what? It's better just to buy the pan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, not everyone's got that luxury. Your KLR,
Right.
for an
Well,
example,
and-
you need cases.
Yeah, well, in the KLR, that's why it had to be helicoil, because
Right.
it's like, that's it. There's no other way. It's either that or you have to get entire engine cases to do the job.
Right. And
So-
on some bikes, to
yeah.
get the pan off, even though it's got a pan, it's still engine out. I mean, they give you a pan.
Right. But yeah,
But-
there's no way to get it out.
You still got to pull the engine to get it off. And in that case, you're like, I'm not sure about that. So then out comes the helicoil. So, when is a bodge not a bodge?
So I remember years ago, we had a young man come here on a beautiful CB 550 that he had been kind of restoring, really going through and fixing up. And so he made a somewhat expensive mistake. The brake was seized up on it, so he ordered a caliper. But he didn't just order a used one. He ordered like a brand new caliper for CB 550. I think it cost him a couple $100. It was pretty expensive, right? And he puts it on, still locked up. Nothing would move. So then he bought a brand, and he kept going to like Honda, like ordering like Honda vintage parts or something like that, or OEM parts.
He didn't do
right?
Banggood?
No, he wasn't buying used, so he got a new master cylinder. Still locked up. So they thought, well, it must be the line. So he got a new braided line. He's spent so much money by this point. Still wouldn't engage at all. He brought it down to the garage for us to go through and check out. And I found the problem.
Which was?
The bolt going into the master cylinder was
Banjo bolt.
Was a bolt.
Oh.
Bolted the line on. It was not a banjo bolt with the holes for the fluid to move through.
Oh, blimey.
But
And he kept replacing everything and using the same bolt.
But how do you replace the lines and not notice this?
Well, because if you don't
know, you need a banjo bolt.
Okay, yeah. If
You
you're
don't
not
know.
familiar with the system, yeah.
Not everybody's.
I'm sure he bought the bike from somebody and maybe they just threw the. You never know when you buy stuff from people.
I'm going to fess up. Would you like to know the worst mistake I ever made?
Oh, good.
Oh, it's a good one. And it goes back a few years.
Wait.
Indian
Oh,
food.
I know one bad mistake you made when you forgot to tighten the front fender.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
Is it worse than that?
In some respects.
All right.
So I had many years ago. I had a 1967 BSA Lightning on my Ram.
Nice.
Oh, it's a gorgeous bike.
Oh, this wasn't your bike.
No.
Oh, that made it worse.
And it had a tick from the top end, and I could not get this thing running right. And I thought, Christ, it's got a tick from the top end. It's got to be mechanical. So I take the rocker cover off. Look, nothing. And then I think, okay, I've got to take the head off. Take the head off. Nothing. Take the valves out. Nothing. Maybe the guides are loose in the cylinder head. So I heat up the cylinder head, push the guides out. Nothing. So I'm like, oh, shit. Now I've got to take the cylinder off. So I take the cylinder off.
Oh, no.
Rings are fine. Maybe the pistons. So I take the pistons off. Pay a great deal of money to have the pistons x-rayed. No cracks in the piston. Now I'm looking at the rods, and I'm like, oh, it can't be the rods. But it's got this tick. It's got this tick. Okay, the rod's got to come out. So I pull the rods, put new shells in it, because the shells had a tiny bit of wear
Basically
on
doing
it.
a complete engine rebuild.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was a complete engine rebuild, strip the oil pump, does all the... And, I mean, God bless me, I did it in a day. And I put it all back together, and there was a tick. And it still ran like crap. And to cut a long story short,
Spark plug wire.
on the bottom of the intake, there's a bridge pipe, a rubber pipe that goes left to right, and it was off one of the spigots. And the tick was air going... sucking in through that, and that's why I couldn't get it running right, because it was running lean. So I just put the bridge pipe on, the thing ran perfectly.
Wow.
And, I mean, you can't charge that. You can't charge, as honest as I am, I said to the guy, look, this is what it was. You got a complete engine rebuild out of it. I said, but I'm not even comfortable charging you an hour. 15 minutes. Just pay me 15 minutes. 15 minutes time to put the rubber pipe back
Good
on.
learning experience for you,
It was
I
an
guess.
incredibly good learn.
Yeah.
Well,
Did,
and
did he at least pay for the new shells?
no, actually, we've remained friends for a long time.
Oh, that's worth it.
And that's worth it in the end, because we all need more friends. But I think the lesson I learned as a mechanic is that we always tend to figure the worst. I mean, as upbeat as I try to be, mechanics generally were a pessimistic bunch. If someone says, oh, my engine's making a little noise, I mean, it comes in, it sounds like there's a giant skeleton trying to climb out of the engine. So you tend to fear and expect the worst. So you tend to make things far more complex than they need to be. Something as simple as a rubber pipe coming off. No, it can't be that simple. It's got to be the big end shells. So, you know.
I did something a little dumb like that just this morning. Oh, no. With that Harley. So it's been sitting under the back deck. It's a neighbor's bike that he's having me foster for him, you could say. And I was pretty sure the starter battery was not holding a charge. And I still think it was defensible to replace the battery today. Get the brand new battery in there. Voltage is fine, static, whatever. And it still won't even click. And I was like, what's wrong with this thing? And I figured out it was the two damn CR 2032 coin cell batteries in the keyless ignition. He's like, why is there a little orange key lit up on the speedometer?
Yeah.
It's like, I replaced the damn coin battery. Boom! Fires right up. It's like, oh,
There's
I
like a
replaced the
car.
starter battery. Okay, well, you know.
So, has anyone here ever bought or sold a motorcycle that was a mistake?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
So, no, well, I want to talk about this gummy taco I've got right now, just for a moment, if you'll indulge me. So, it's got removable cheese. You can lift.
There's a whole thing over there for you guys.
Yeah, no, you can lift out the cheese. It's like a kit, and you can.
Here's tortilla chips, Liza.
Hold on.
The tortilla. Don't eat the corn.
I
corn is
gotta
risque.
try the gummy corn.
No, the
No,
corn's
oh
bomb.
God, that is sketchy.
no.
Don't eat the gummy.
I'm going for
it
it.
I'm
tastes.
thinking, I'm
chips.
thinking those corn flavored jelly beans.
It's
or whatever.
it is quite revolting.
I didn't think it was that
Are you
bad.
eating it like corn?
Yeah.
All that. No, it needs the cheese and some tapatio on there.
Oh, that would do it.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, isn't
elotes.
I need some.
No,
isn't it awful?
no, the mistake isn't that it's corn flavored. I like corn. It's the sour gummy. I didn't notice that. Oh, I can't stand a sour gummy. Now it looks like a banana slug.
Gross.
Oh, this is awful.
Well, Santa Cruz.
Put it on your computer.
That was a mistake. Emma, back to your mistake.
Well, I think. I mean, just being more general. I mean, I think we've all bought bikes that we had just high hopes for and spent too much on the bike and spent too much fixing them up. Just never really bonded to them, you know? I mean, everybody knows how much I love Rufus and how me and Rufus are a couple. And that's kind of like the love story. But I've had bikes before, and I'm trying to think one of the ones I had. And I could just... Actually, you know, the Trident I wrecked?
Yeah.
I wanted so much to love that bike. It was a 68 Trident. It was a prototype bike. It was all original. It was original paint. I mean, on paper, aside from trying to kill me, it was a gorgeous bike.
Yeah.
But I just never bonded with it.
Especially after it threw you down the road about 50 or 60
Well,
feet.
and I mean, no, and I mean that was
I
really
remember.
that was the full stop at the
I
end
was
of a
there.
very peculiar relationship
Yeah,
with that bike, and it's just it doesn't surprise me that the fucking thing tried to kill me. It just and it's nothing tangible because I don't like to over romanticize these things. A motorcycle is just plastic and metal and rubber. It's got no soul. So it's not that it doesn't like you.
It's
Hold on. Did
indifferent.
you hear that? Did you guys hear that sound?
I think it was the bikes. What
I think it was Rufus flinging itself across the parking lot.
Oh, Rufus would never do that.
Heard you say
Soulless.
that.
I got two push-at-home stories,
Yeah.
both dumb stuff. One of them, and we don't have to do this with fuel-injected bikes anymore, but when you fill up the tank, take it off reserve, put it back on main.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I got my buddy doing that.
That was a
years
mile to
ago.
the gas
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
And then the other one was my brother's Vision 550, 82 Yamaha.
Oh, yeah.
Great little bike, a lot of fun in traffic. We had this problem where once in a while it wouldn't start. And I once pushed it like 2 miles back to the house before we figured out it was the side stand interlock switch. It was getting jammed. All you
Yep.
have to do is reach down there and mess
And you know, it's only America that they put those switches on for stupid Americans.
I like the side stand switch because my first bike, that 77 RD400.
You left the side stand down.
Oh, man. First left turn out of the driveway, fairly steep driveway. Like, oh, my God. You know,
It'll wake.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll wake you up for sure. There you are. You talk about mistakes. How many times have you ridden away with the side stand down? Many.
Speaking of, so I've been writing down. I've been thinking of mistakes I've made. When it comes to like getting a bike, I don't think of this as a mistake. I think of this as a journey. But the chopper that I built,
Life's a journey, darling.
I mean, it cost me $25,000 to
Right.
build. I mean, to me, it was a beautiful
Right.
chopper. It was all custom. And then after a couple years, after about just 3 years, it was, rusting in my garage from the salt air, and I sold it for 10 grand. So on paper, it was a mistake. Also, I didn't have anyone to ride it with.
Right.
You couldn't really ride it with a group or do anything with it. I don't think of it as a mistake because it was the journey of building a bike from the ground up and all the little things I did to make all these parts fit together that when you're getting chopper parts, they're not necessarily made to hold together. You need to modify and fabricate things to make it all fit together. So it was a great journey for me, but yeah, on paper, that was a failure.
I think for monetary value, yeah. And we've all done that. When I have people bring me down a bike for a restoration, I'll often have the talk with them. I say, you will understand, if you restore this bike, you're spending far more than the value of the bike. Far more than the value of the bike. But the bike may have nostalgic values. It might have been Dad's bike or Uncle Freddie's bike, or it just might have been a motorcycle, even though they just bought it. They've lusted after it since they were children. And so from a heart perspective, it's got far more value than what you'd expect to pay for it in Cycle Trader. Yeah. In which case it represents good value for money. But just from an economic standpoint, the actual cost to restore a British bike now, if you were to bring me a rusty, crusty, early 1960s Bonneville and say, I want this to look like it did in 1964, brand new off the showroom floor, it's $20,000. That's what it costs to restore a British bike. Japanese bikes even more, because Japanese bikes have got more chrome, the paintwork tends to be more complex, and the parts are harder to find. The thing is, the parts network for English bikes is amazing, always has been. So that's what it costs. And yes, well, actually, even the finest Bonnevilles, you might get 20 grand on a good day. It's more likely it's going to be 15. But you could argue, okay, if you get a couple of years of happy motoring out of it, and then you drop it at 15, it's not been bad value for money. It's about the same depreciation you'd get on a car. But once you get into, say, quite an obscure Japanese bike, like a Yamaha XS750, it's simply uneconomic to restore them, because just because it's not a particularly popular bike doesn't mean it costs less to restore. And XSs are a great example because they have such complex paint jobs on them. A lot of the Yamahas from the mid-70s have got these amazingly complex paint jobs, which have got 2, 3 colours, base, all these graphics that have all got to be hand applied. I mean, you can spend 2 or 3 grand just on getting a tank painted on a bike that's worth 5 on a really good day.
Your work as a professional mechanic is a little bit different. Thinking back to Liza's story about what she got out of building the chopper, and life is not a purely financial experience.
Right, exactly.
It's like, what do you get for your time on this planet?
And I kind of run the shop like that as well. Yeah. I try and run it as an experience for me and an experience for my customers.
Yeah.
I think in terms of monetary standpoint of actual money changing hands, Mototown is a very, very small fish in a big pond. I mean, it's not entirely successful, but I have a great time doing it, which makes it successful.
So here's
we have late additions to the show.
Hey.
Not new edition, late edition.
So here's a mistake that I've made. Hold on. Let's do. Yeah, there you go. That I've made. I'm thinking maybe some people here have made too. And this, I'm going back to my childhood, and that would be Mike. That has no. There you go. Use that one. There you go. And I can blame Evel Knievel for this mistake and lesson learned. And that would be, as a kid, on my bicycle, the first time I tried a ramp-to-ramp jump.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Are you guys familiar with, have any of you tried the ramp-to-ramp jump on a bicycle?
Yes.
I think many, many, many years ago.
So
Tried it on the scooter, too.
the problem that happens is if you don't make it, then your rear wheel gets caught on the edge of the ramp and flips you over the handlebars.
Nasty business.
John, you can pull that mic over towards you. There you go. That's a lesson I think a lot to learn, the ramp-to-ramp
And
jump.
here's a gummy Mexican corn to go
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
there's-
penis
try it,
coloring
yeah,
book you
gummy
have.
corn. It's really good.
With that,
I'll
with that
share
book of
one
cocks.
if you want.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wait. We have John Dalton and Michael
Yes.
McCarthy joining us.
howdy.
Oh, howdy.
Is talking about wrenching and mistakes and whatnot is I used to break a lot of bolts, right? Like side engine case bolts, because they're such small torque specs, right?
Right.
Like 6 pounds, that kind of thing.
And,
right?
and if they've been on and off a couple of times, those torque specs are meaningless because they're
Right.
all pre-stretched anyway. The book says 4 foot-pounds. If you set your torque wrench to 4 foot-pounds, you're going to break it anyway because it's not a new bolt.
And I like you. I've actually kind of gotten. I asked you about it the other day, but I've gotten away from torque wrenches because
Yes.
I've broken bolts with torque wrenches, and I'm like, that's bullshit. But anyway, that aside, what helped me stop breaking bolts, and Emma knows is I went to 1/4-inch drive sockets.
Right.
Well,
Huge,
Well, here's what
huge
I'll say.
No,
improvement
there's
there,
no
yeah.
well, Liza.
No, here's what I'll say. Not a blanket statement, but when I'm doing regular maintenance items like an oil filter on a dirt bike, those little fucking bolts, those little things on and off a lot. I with a 1/4-inch drive socket, I rarely break anything, almost never. And if I need a bigger socket, well, I go
Well,
to
and
it.
it comes down to that feel thing.
Right.
Like, if you've got some monster wrench, you cannot feel what's going on.
Well, 4
versus
inches of
the
leverage
small
is,
wrenches a little bit-
versus 8 inches of leverage.
Right.
You're literally
Yeah.
doubling the force.
But I have questions.
We might
What-
have
go
answered.
ahead,
Yes.
Bagel.
First of all, how do you break a bolt with 4 foot-pounds?
Well, by applying more than 4 foot-pounds to it.
Okay,
Or
but a torque
stripping
wrench isn't
out
going to do
threads.
that, though.
And the point if it's stretched already from its last use.
And plus, I
Right,
mean,
but it-
Italian bikes tend to have bolts that are made of stuff not dissimilar to mozzarella cheese in consistency. I mean,
It's
they are
true.
quite easy to break.
Well, and even the
Well-
thing that I've seen is it's not so much the bolt breaks, it's the aluminum casing or the magnesium casing.
Right.
The threads strip out.
Right, if
They
you
tear out
over torque,
really easily.
yeah, if you over torque a small bolt that goes into a case, yeah, absolutely, you can strip that out. And I've done that plenty of times.
Surely you mean aluminium, Patrick?
Yeah,
Yes.
aluminium.
For the making of
yes.
helium
So,
bombs.
Yes.
I did an oil change on the GSA just like a week ago, and I was surprised at how tight the torque spec with my brand new torque wrenches was. Like, wow, that seems like it's pretty tight.
So the reason I said oops is because I was helping Alex today change out his sprockets. And so he had his wheel on the ground and he needed to get those sprocket bolts out, which everyone knows can be very hard. And they're Allen head. And if you strip them, you're done, right? So I'm like, well, we're going to work our way up from the smaller tools up, because he was like, I heard that you need to use an impact. Like, yeah, but an impact could also be the instrument of destruction. So we got a Allen, but it was a quarter drive. So then I put a quarter adapter to 3/8, and then the breaker bar is a half. So I'd put a 3/8 to half adapter.
Right.
And we got in there and just started twisting slowly, and then I just twisted off the quarter adapter into the Allen, which I have yet to be able to get out.
Right.
Did you try wrapping it? Because that's the other
No,
trick
but
is
then we-
wrap the bolt.
We moved to
As
the
in
impact,
hit.
and the impact did do
Well,
it.
not impact, but just
I've just come up with a great idea.
gummy flavored gummy
No,
tacos.
I'm going to bring out my own line of sprockets.
Spankies.
Dieter brand sprockets with the monkey on the box.
I don't understand.
Well, no, you have to be a certain age. Don't you remember Dieter from Saturday Night Live? It's his band's his sprockets.
No, it's the time
Yes,
they die.
Yes, Klaus, you are angular and beautiful.
So,
Would you like to touch my monkey?
Bad monkey.
Touch him.
So, speaking of mistakes, Emma,
Yes,
there's a series of YouTube videos I love to watch.
there's a light shining at the
that are
Frankenstein
it's
face.
car mechanics, and it's called
Oh, yes.
customer states. Have you guys
Yes.
seen these?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's great. It'll say like customer states, ticking sound coming from the rear end, and they lift it up, and there is a giant hole in the differential. You know?
Yes.
I've seen memes like that before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or there was one that was customer states burning a lot of gas, or has poor mileage, and they crank it up, and there's literally a tree branch through the gas tank. Just stuff like what's going on. I'm wondering if you get anything
Oh,
where
yes.
customer states, and then you get into it, and you're like, "What? Oh, you got to go, Jim."
I'm going to take off. Yeah,
All right, see ya.
run. Catch y'all later. Peace, love, and soul.
Love you, Jim. And thanks for the gummies. Except for the corn one, which was revolting.
Liza gagged
Sour
on
corn
that slug or
gummies.
whatever it
Oh
was.
God.
That was the corn. John just had a
No,
corn.
Liza likes her candy pre-chewed.
It expired like 7 years ago.
So
It was recalled.
So,
Tastes like 2015.
I
All
will
right, see ya,
share.
Jim.
I'll share a couple because I don't like sharing. Shaming customers.
well, you can go back in time.
Right, but I'll just share a couple, and the names will remain nameless to protect the innocent.
Or guilty.
They pay their penance.
This was a large touring bike, which rhymes with bold thing. So, customer states there is a shimmy from the rear end. So, this beast arrives, and it's extremely large. It's an early 90s bold thing, and they are particularly big and awkward. And I thought, I need to ride this thing before I judge the shimmy in the rear end. I pulled out of the driveway and was instantly completely terrified. The back of the bike was jumping from left to right about 6 inches. The wheel didn't even feel like it was round anymore. It was like riding a clown bike. It was bouncing up and down and jumping from left to right. I was terrified at walking speed. And the trouble is, where my workshop's located, you have to... It was obvious I wasn't going to be able to push this thing. Mm-hmm. So I got it on the garage forecourt, and I just caught my breath a little bit. And I thought, well, if I just leave the garage forecourt, cross the intersection, quick left back to my place, it'll be fine. And I swear I aged a decade in that quarter-mile ride back. So the little shimmy turned out that both left and right wheel bearing had failed. When I say failed, the balls had dropped out.
These bearings are no more.
Yes, the whole back, the
These
back
are
wheel of the bike
non-bearings.
was being suspended by the ring gear on the left, which was also destroyed,
And grease.
and grease, and the rotor was actually kind of digging holes in the rotor carry and suspending the entire weight of the bike on the right, which was also destroyed. The wheel itself was destroyed. Everything that rotated in the back or interacted with the rotating thing in the back was just destroyed.
Just a little
turned
shimmy.
The drivetrain turned itself into a lathe.
Yes,
Is what you're saying.
with a very, very blunt tip.
Bold thing indeed.
Yes, exactly. And the amazing thing, the guy rode it down.
Oh my!
Wow.
Supposedly from Prunedale, which is 25 miles.
Two-stroke man.
no.
He was obviously an extremely bold fellow with cojones made of iron. And I fixed it. Using a combination of new parts and carefully sourced used parts and blah, blah, we put it back together. And, he called me up when he got home after the repair, and he said, "You know, it hasn't handled like this in years."
No!
So that's that gradual failure. You don't even
Exactly.
realize how bad it is.
Next
Oh,
one.
you just get used to it.
Next one. Customer states.
Yes.
Customer states there is a small tick in the engine. Oh, okay.
Keith Moon lives in that case.
Yes. Keith Moon did indeed live in that case. Or more importantly, Keith Moon had tried to make an escape. So this thing pulls up, and I could hear it coming down the road. Pulls up at the shit, turns off. Okay, very good. Customer states, ticking engine. All right, go away. Let me diagnose your bike. Get the bike on the ramp. And there is a hole in the front of the crankcase. And when the engine was running, the rod was going, hello, 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 hello. It was like, it reminded me
Peekaboo.
of a cuckoo clock that was running extremely quickly. Hello, 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 hello. It's, oh, hello, Mr. Rod. Nice to see ya.
See you.
So that's just, I mean, 2 examples. I mean, you could go on forever.
I do go on. I want to hear more.
Well,
You've been doing this how many decades? I'm sure back past the statute of limitations. Have there ever been customers who did their own repair?
Oh, many
and brought
times.
it in for you to inspect, and you had to break the news to them?
well, I mean, so I got a customer recently. And
So
I know.
not-
I
okay,
mean,
be
I'm
careful.
not going to say his name, so I'm not really shaming him. And he had a bevel case from a Honda Valkyrie with the drive shaft sticking out of it. And he said, "How do I get this drive shaft out of the case?" I said, I said, "Well, what you've got is you've got like a circlip on the splines, and theoretically it's a pull fit, but." Sometimes, you know, if they've got a little bit of wear on them, they're a bit reticent. So the method is put a blanket or, you know, mattress on the ground and hold it up by the shaft so that the bevel gear is facing down, and then just go at it with a rubber hammer and hit the bevel drive. And the weight of the bevel drive combined with you whacking it, it'll pop off and fall onto the mattress and everything will be tickety-boo. And he said, "Well, I haven't been doing that." I said, "Well, what have you been doing?" He said, "Well, I've been holding the bevel gear and I've got vice grips around the drive shaft and I've been hitting the vice grips with a hammer." And I said, "You shouldn't do that because you will break the splines." I've said, "Do the method I've told you." Anyway, he showed up 2 days later with broken splines. And he said, "Well, you know, I know what you said sounded good, but I carried on with my method."
And I've seen this a lot in my industry, and it's we have a name for vice grips. They're called nut fuckers,
Right.
Because that's what they do. They destroy everything in their path.
Right.
Yeah.
They get the tool for the job.
And actually,
they don't do that.
Dear Mike over there reminded me of a very, very recent, and it's very rare that I refuse to work on a bike. But actually, this happened. What day was that? Thursday? Wednesday?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty much just shop every fucking day.
Yeah, well, you're on summer holidays. So you know, Mike is my helper. He's my parts runner right now. 'Cause school's out for summer. School's out forever.
Highly unreliable parts.
No,
runner at
you're
that.
not. You're very reliable,
I
darling.
show up jacked up. No, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all. So, this gentleman shows up with a Japanese cruiser, and I've been trying to offer this gentleman advice for quite a few months now. And originally, he came to me not long after my shop had opened, and he said, "I've just bought this cruiser. It doesn't charge." And I said, "Okay, well, this particular brand of cruiser is quite notorious. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to buy a stator, a regulator rectifier, and a decent battery. There's the trifecta. You have to buy all three. Stay away from the Chinese batteries and buy a stator and a reg. Because
From the factory.
Right, from the factory, because they all work together. And I quoted him actually an amazing price. I said, I'll do that job for $800. I'll put you a factory stator in it, a factory reg, all the labor, and a Yuasa battery for $800. And it was a damn good deal because, because.
Yeah.
Well, he said, no, I think I'll do it myself. Since then, he's been doing like the head of the broom and the handle of the broom. He put in a stator without putting a reg in. Well, that stator burnt out. So now he put in a reg. Well, the stator burnt out the reg. And he's been going backwards and forth. I think he's on his third alternator now. And his second reg because he's never done them together.
Stop.
And he came down the shop. And this was last Wednesday, I believe, looking very, very sheepish. And he said, would you test my bike? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't want to get involved with this bike. I said, I've been offering you free advice for the best part of a year, none of which you've chosen to take.
Or pay for.
Yep.
And I said, I really don't want to get involved. He said, look, I promise. Please just check my bike for charging. So, of course, I get the voltmeter on it. We rev it. 11.6 volts. I said, it's not charging. And I said, you know what I'm going to tell you? You need a stator, a rectifier, and a decent battery. 1, 2, 3. Well, would you do the job? I said, no. No.
That ship has sailed.
But at this point, this guy's learned. It's like, what? You can do it yourself at this point because you've done it twice, three times.
I think I like to think the lesson perhaps he's learned is, I know money's tight.
Right.
But generally, if somebody who has some knowledge gives you advice, it really behooves you to follow it, especially if it's free advice. Because at that point,
it's he's already spent more money than you would have spent to do the job already.
You can pay me now, or you can pay me later.
Yeah, it's worth it to spend the money to do it the right way.
He's gone way beyond that. He's gone way beyond that because if you buy an alternator, by one of the cheaper companies that rhymes with dick. It's basically you put in a dick alternator to sell your bike.
Yeah.
But even if you put one on, you've really got to do everything. An alternator's really very, very stupid. It only does what the reg tells it to do. They're like drinking buddies. And the alternator's the dumb one. So, what are we going to do now? And the reg's going, we're going to go into that bar and we're going to fight the biggest guy in there. Okay. The reg is the instigator in this, but the reg is heavily influenced by the battery. The reg's in love with the battery, and he'll do everything that the battery tells him to do. And the battery's like, I'm needy. I want more from you. And he's like, okay. And the alternator's going, what are we going to do now? The reg's going, I want more. Because I'm in love with the battery and she wants more. And so they're all working together to spend your money.
Yep.
Yeah. And
It's
not harmonious.
Can I give an interesting story about that?
Yes.
In my Heinkel.
The HE 111.
Hold on.
Yes.
I was waiting for Bagel to share a mistake story with that pile of non-running bikes behind him.
I've got endless. How much time do you have? But the Heinkel, when I got it revived last year, and I took it out on its first real rally ride, I blew the headlight. And I was like, well, that's weird. And I put they were new batteries from J.C. Whitney, probably from 15 years ago. And I filled them up with acid, give them a charge and everything. Right. And they were holding a little over 12, between the two, because it says two batteries in series to make 12 volts. This is how Heinkels did it back in the day, because they only had 6-volt motorcycle batteries back then. So I set it up and it ran, it worked. But during the ride, it blew the low beam. I was like, well, that's weird. And I put it on high beam, so I have a light, and then it blew the high beam.
Oh dear.
And I couldn't I couldn't ride the bike after the end of the ride because at least I had other people on the ride with headlights. And then I had to have my housemate come bring a spare headlight bulb to me so I could ride the rest of the way home. And luckily made it the rest of the way home.
I thought you were going to say, and then the bomb aiming sight went out and you had to ditch in a field in France and walk back to the fatherland?
No.
Okay.
But I realized that after the fact that because those batteries were just barely holding 12 volts, what that was doing is that was causing the reg rec to put out a lot more voltage than it really needed to.
Right.
And that, I believe, is what fried the headlight bulb.
I agree with you.
On both sides. And I got a brand new 12-volt lithium ion battery for it, put that in, not a problem since.
Right.
And in fact, even the little red charging light on the dash would come on whenever it was at idle before with the two lead acid batteries, the 2 6-volt batteries. After I replaced with the lithium ion, the charging light just does not come on at all anymore. So it's working much better with a properly working battery.
And this is the missing link that people don't always get. Your battery is part of the charging system. As the ultimate recipient of the goods that the alternator is putting out via the rec, the battery is an integral part. It's a balanced system. A cheap and nasty battery, or in your case, just a nasty old battery that isn't able to take all the current that's been putting out, or is fooling. You see, in your case, you had a battery or twin batteries. And who's not in love with twins who are being very mean with their love?
Twins.
Meanwhile,
yes, they're being very needy.
Yes, being very needy. Meanwhile, the rec is equally in love with both of them. And it just really wants to please and is putting out and getting nothing in return.
And it doesn't care who else it burns out in the process.
That's right. And it burnt out its friend, the headlight bulb. It was a terrible, terrible, tragic end to a happy ménage à trois.
But they're all working happy now.
Yes.
But can I offer one other lesson that I learned just today?
Yes.
Yes. I went down to the Big Wood Scooter Rally in Eureka this weekend, which was a fabulous rally. Great riding through the redwoods. Wonderful time camping. And many thanks to the Slug Rocket Scooter Club in Eureka for putting that on. But I learned some lessons on the way back. I had a great ride down there on my salvage GTS 300, nicknamed Shorty, because I've been hitting the rear and was a foot shorter when I got it. I rode, and this is a bike that I got running last year, and I've just kind of been riding it around as my backup bike. I've changed the oil and haven't really done a whole lot else to it. So, I guess one lesson is I should have really gone thoroughly through the bike before I went on a bigger ride like this. But I didn't. It's a modern Vespa. I figured it would probably be okay. And for the most part, it did just fine. Except on the way back today, all of a sudden, on the side of I-5, well, actually on the left lane of I-5 doing about 75 miles an hour, it just cut out on me when I was trying to pass a truck. Completely dead, nothing left in the throttle. And so I pulled in behind the truck, pulled over. And because I was just north of Grants Pass, where there's this huge downhill, I managed to coast probably 2 or 3 miles downhill to the next exit on the shoulder and got off the freeway and went to take a look at it. And I figured as I'm coasting along the shoulder, I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be one of two things. It's got to be fuel or it's got to be spark. And because the engine was still turning because the belt was still engaged. So I knew it hadn't, crunched into the insides. But when I finally came to a stop, I figured, okay, let me check and see if the spark plug cap pulled off, because that would be the easiest fix. And sure enough, I saw the spark plug dangling there. And so I popped it back on, tried the starter, started right up. I'm like, great, that's awesome. Easy fix, right back on the road. But the one thing that seemed a little odd was when I put the spark plug cap back on, it didn't make that little click when it pops onto the end of the spark plug.
Oh, yes.
And I thought that was a little weird, because I was expecting that and I didn't feel it. And I thought, well, maybe the spark plug cap's getting worn out and I've got to replace that when I get home. Mental note. And then continued on my way. About an hour later, the bike died again. Of course, I was about to pass a truck in the left lane again. When it cut out on me and coasted to the side. And on the side of the freeway this time, I went back down in there again. And this time the spark plug cap had fallen down below the engine. And of course, everything is red hot, in 102-degree heat on the freeway doing 75, 80 miles an hour. And so I figured, let me try to push the spark plug cap back up with a big Allen wrench that I had in my toolkit, so I don't have to burn my hand on the engine and the exhaust reaching down in there. And I tried to put the Allen wrench into the spark plug cap and it wouldn't go in. I'm like, what the hell? And I looked in the spark plug cap and there was the tip of the spark plug stuck inside the spark plug cap. Oh. And I was like, oh shit. And I looked in my little parts box that I threw in the bike before I left and there was no spark plug in there. Looked in the glove box, no spark plug in there. I'm like, oh, I didn't bring a spare with me. And as someone who came into riding on vintage scooters, that is one thing you always carry with you is a spare spark plug. And I typically carry a spare spark plug on modern bikes too, but this time I didn't really go thoroughly into my kit before I went on the trip. Didn't have a spark plug. And I managed to limp it home just by pushing the spark plug cap back on the plug. And it ran well enough to get me here for the last 60 miles. But lesson learned, always bring a spare spark plug with you just in case you need it.
Good lesson learned.
You could probably zip tie that boot onto the plug ceramic, right?
I was thinking about that. There weren't a lot of well, if you wanted a permanent, sure. Yeah. But there weren't a lot of places that do a good zip tie on there, and
right.
It lasted about an hour the first time, so I figured got about an hour to get home. Maybe it'll make it, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah, and it's just it's the thing that affects single-cylinder bikes the world over. Simple vibration.
Yep.
Simple vibration. Well, boo. Well, I'm glad you made it home safe, Bagel.
Thanks, me too, because it was really hot out there. I did not want to be broken down by the side of the road for like a couple hours. Oh, God, no,
that would be awful.
No.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give a big thanks to a listener of ours.
Oh, Brad.
Oh, yeah?
No, but yes, you can do Brad. You do Brad.
So, I would like to give a big shout out to my dear friend Brad, who's a listener, who's a pilot.
Yes.
And he flies executive jets. And apparently he was flying into Monterey on business and decided he was going to give Mototown a try because he listens to the podcast. So he called me up and showed up. Absolute dear man. Mm-hmm. We had a lovely visit at Mototown, and then I made a couple of phone calls and gave him a private tour of the Jameson Museum that evening, and we said goodbye. And then the very next day we said, well, we're going to have an evening meal at the Whole Enchilada. Yeah. And so we go to the Whole Enchilada and it's closed. Yeah. So then we think,
it's always closed. That's why I hate going there.
yes, exactly. So then Phil's Fish Market. Perfect. Phil's Fish Market, best seafood in the world. So we go there.
Closing.
Yeah.
At 7 p.m.
The waitress gave us the stink eye and did the finger across the throat. We're closed. So that was the end of that. So in the end, we went to Lemongrass, which is a
Thai restaurant down in Moss Landing.
Very passable Thai restaurant.
Jim and I rode down and met y'all, which I wanted to share. Riding back was surreal.
Really?
Yeah. So we were riding back, and there was a fog layer here.
Right.
Now it was 100 degrees over the hill when I was working, but it was like a fog layer here. So we're riding home and the sun is setting and it's dipped down below the fog layer. So we're seeing the sunset and this bright orange and red, but just this like little strip of it between the clouds. And then there were like pelicans flying through that. And you're like, oh my gosh, as we're riding up the coast. Then there was lightning strikes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a dry lightning storm.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing...
Jeez.
And the whole thing was just like so like surreal and beautiful. It looked like a painting.
I just want to mention one more thing about Brad.
Yeah.
Because Brad showed up with liquor in hand. It's like he knew that I was going to be there. He was like, I heard there's this dude that hangs out at a shop, and I heard that he's a lush. Showed up with this delicious gin in hand, cracked that bad boy open before he even had fully taken a seat.
And
it was a wonderful thing.
We shared from the cup of love. And no, he brought many, many gifts. The biggest gift of all, of course, he brought was himself. It's just a lovely man. So
the gin was a close second.
Gin was a close blackcurrant flavor gin.
So
it was yummy.
the thanks I'm putting out there. So I mentioned that. So, Moin Khan is flying from Pakistan for AMA Vintage Days.
Oh, yes.
In a few weeks, right?
Yes.
And I was like, Moin, if you're coming, I need to enter you into one of the races. You're the motocross champion of Pakistan,
Oh, hell yeah.
right? So I put the word out to our listeners. Does anyone out there have a bike you can ride? Well, John, he answered the call and he said, I have a 98 CR250 I can get prepped and race ready for you.
Nice.
Now, I'm like, yeah, thank you. That's awesome. So I entered Moyne into the motocross races. I'm like, all right, Moyne, got you a CR250. You're entered. And he's like, holy shit, that's a two-stroke, man. Now, he's the motocross champion in Pakistan, but he's like, when I come to the States, 9-year-olds beat me. Well, John's 9-year-old is entered in races. I was like, I'll send the kid out to show you the track.
Nice.
So Moyne's shitting his pants a little bit. But thank you, John. He's prepping the bike, getting it all ready, doing fork
Does he get
seals
any
and
practice
such.
laps?
You've just reminded me
Yeah.
about AMA Vintage Days. So I have an announcement to make. And if you decide to take me up on this offer, it's going to be tough for the timing, but I promise you it's going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
A certain person who shall remain nameless, but heads the Cleveland Moto podcast, has dropped out of Kat and Emma's Alpine Adventure.
Oh, no.
It was scheduled. Well, he's down mechanics at his shop.
Nevertheless, a
Oh,
feeble
that's right.
excuse. I'm accepting.
So he's just working overtime trying to
I'm
keep
accepting no. However, it means that a space has opened up. Now, in order to go on Kat and Emma's motorcycle Alpine Adventure, you will need a passport, you'll need euros, you'll need an international driving permit, and you will need access to a flight to Munich. Lufthansa still have seats available. If you can fill that category, this is the absolute bargain of the century. And this trip was so overbooked. It was overbooked 2 weeks after we announced it. So this is a rare opportunity to get on board. Now, I know for a fact...
Bagel.
I want
Cats-
to go so bad.
Kat's
But I
dear
need a new
wife...
roof and heat in my shop.
Right. Kat's dear wife, Nancy, is probably listening to this right now and wanting to wring my neck. You're really going to have to pull your finger out because you've got just under a month to do it. You can do it. It's quite easy to get all those ducks in a row. You can get Deutschmarks within a couple of days at most banks. The international driving permit you can get at AAA same day.
It only takes like 20 minutes
Yes.
when I did it, yeah.
Passport, well, you've either got a passport or if you don't, you can get onto Priceline,
Well, you
research the
might-
flights.
You might be able to get a passport last minute if you really try really hard.
But I would love...
You might have to go to the Social Security Administration office.
So there's one more spot open.
There's one more spot open if you decide to take us up on it. And just as a reminder, I think all the entry-level bikes have gone. You'd be, for a shared room, it's like $2,800 plus the cost of the flight. It's an absolute friggin' bargain.
I think Phil had one of the BMW 900s.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to say also, as a selling point to this, that I will not be there. I will not be there. So just
Oh,
you hurt
yeah,
my
no, and
feelings.
that's the crushing thing. So please, and just as a reminder of what this trip is, if you have no experience riding a motorcycle in an alpine environment, if you have no experience of riding in Europe, if you have never left the United States on holiday before, this is the trip for you. It's absolutely an entry-level trip. There is no competition. There's no harsh words. It's just a very gentle, kind trip to introduce you to motorcycle rental through the Alps. And we're going to make everything as easy as possible for people. It's going to be a very, very nice, kind trip, very respectful trip to everyone. We're going to have a really good time. We're going to eat like kings and queens. We're going to stay in beautiful historic hotels. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful adventure.
It's like Rick Steves with like 2 wheels and an accent.
Exactly.
Emma, I will
Nice.
put the link
Put
in
the
the show
link.
notes.
Please sign up for it because it really is. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's going to be a lovely, lovely trip. And, Phil, you're missing out. I know you're down a mechanic, but you really need to evaluate what's important in your life.
No, that
right
means
now.
he gets to stay at Vintage Days.
Yeah,
with
and
us.
that's a good
Paychecks.
thing.
Paychecks are
Yeah.
fucking important.
Yeah, but no, I get it. I get it.
I have
but-
another announcement.
Yes.
So, I realized on the show I don't really talk a lot about my profession as a hardware, fastener specialist. Well, our friend Junkie Turdman at Creative Writing Podcast,
Yes.
he called me up and said, "Hey, I want to talk about fasteners." So on his podcast, the episode is "It's a Hardware Life." I droned on and talked all about fasteners.
For the 5 people that find that
You're talking
fascinating,
about thread
you're
pitches.
my people.
That's
So go on over to Creative Writing and check out Junkie's podcast.
Would you say, Liza,
Cool.
that the way you electrocuted yourself, would you say it was a fine pitch or was it quite coarse?
Hey, got some emails to read real quick. And I'm going to start with a good one. This one comes from Patty, our friend Patty from New Jersey. And the
Hello, Patty.
the title is "Shut Up, Liza!" exclamation point.
Well, I
Oh,
like.
she is from Jersey, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Patty with a D.
Wait,
I
Patty.
like
Fucking
this.
Patty. Oh,
Oh, sure it is now.
So he says,
I like this already.
"Here, you want to read it?
Yeah, I love
Here,
it.
you can."
Anything
here, you can
that
read
says
it.
"Shut
You
up,
can read it.
Liza." Okay, Liza, I respect your opinions, but shut the fuck up. I have always been SV curious and just bought one for my track bike. I can't do too many mods since it has to be quieter for noise restrictions on some tracks. Yeah, that's legit. Now I want a Street 650S set up the same way. If prices jump up, not that they are not crazy already, because you put the word out, I won't be able to afford it. And Mikey, many times, he's so jelly. I've decided that I am working up to one of Cat's trips. Hence the track days and a myriad of instructions I'm getting this year. See some of you dingles at Vintage Days. Paddy from New Jersey.
And then I responded.
nice.
Dem dares fighting words. Ha ha!
And then he responded.
Vintage Days. 10-yard slow race, noon, by the Monkey's Bar.
Word. Hey, if I go there, I want to be on that slow race.
on.
The gauntlet has
is
been...
on.
The gauntlet's been thrown down, Paddy.
Patty, I just want to say really quick in defense of Liza, the SV has not really been a well kept secret for a long time. So I wouldn't blame Liza for price increases. I would blame the ridiculous market one, but also the fact that just about every rider out there knows the SV is good bang for the buck.
Yes, but the older ones I think are still worth investing in.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's my
Yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a charm to the Gen 1 SVs that, they ride like nothing else. There's just this visceral power bound
It's
to
still
them.
very much a machine. When
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, I have one here from Ethan. Ethan from Portland.
Hello, Ethan
your
from
show,
Portland.
Your show last week touched on something that has been weighing on my mind. What to do with a non-running project. Fix it or scrap it. In the equation, motorcycles in my possession equal D-1. I am currently at D, divorce.
Oh,
So you remember what's the right amount of motorcycles? D-1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you reach T and then it's N+1.
And then it's N+1. He says, I have 4 bikes I cannot part with: a Mint Trail 90.
It's got
a Honda
Is
Elite
it green
80,
with a hole in it?
a 1971 CB 175, and my beloved KTM 300 XCW.
Fine bikes all.
The bike that is throwing my marriage into question is, and I like this one, a 1970 CB 450.
Okay.
I've rebuilt the engine twice, put on new tires, air filter, chain, got it to tip-top shape, have plenty of spare parts, including 2 spare non-running engines, but the motor seized on me for the second time at the end of last summer. Now I am discouraged. I'm looking for advice on what to do. I don't really want to scrap it. Do I attempt one last fix to get it running before I sell, or do I sell this as a package to someone else? How do you forget about the countless hours spent on a project and move on?
So
Ride it.
Yeah. No, you put it down to experience. You know, I've been discouraged with bikes, but, you know, you just power through. There's no magic wand with bikes. If he has rebuilt the engine twice and twice it's seized, there's something in the method he's doing.
Disagree. Twice is a coincidence. 3 times is a pattern.
Well, maybe. I think he's doing something wrong.
Do we know where the engine seized? Was it the crank or the
No, it's
head?
always at the top, and I'll tell you why. The CB450, it's got roller bearing bottom end, so it doesn't need any oil pressure for the bottom end. And the pistons are splash feed. The only thing that really needs oil pressure is the cam, which is where they always seize if they've got no oil pressure. So he's either got an oil pump problem, or what people do with these bikes, they don't understand how the centrifugal oil filter goes. And on the end of the crank, there's like a cup. It's like a cup.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And in the middle of the cup, there's a hole
Looks
with an
kinda like a dryer.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a hole with an M6 thread in it. You think, ooh, that needs a screw in it. But it doesn't, because that's how you pull the end of the cap off. If you put a screw in there, it'll seize the top end.
Ooh.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I know for sure how to be successful with this. Rebuild the engine one more time and then never ride the bike again.
Oh, it's like Schrodinger's bike. It's perfect. It's like
Exactly.
It's a showroom bike.
it's both in a state of complete and total failure and total functionality at the same time.
There you
It's
go.
fantastic.
Or it could be
don't know
like
'cause you can't run it.
Pavlov's dog. You could have a bell, and you ring the bell, and the bike seizes. It's a ding. Oops.
Well, the question I have is does this bike have oil passages going up to the head that could be clogged?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Right, because if that's something, if he's rebuilt the engine and it seized again the same way, that sounds to me like that's the most likely culprit, because if those passages got seized from previous debris from a seizure or other problem, that's going to just keep doing this until you fix it.
I don't know if this is possible.
Right?
I know on my CB 750 there was not by me, there was a gasket put on backwards that was blocking one of the lines.
Right.
So it lines up with the cylinders.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, there's plenty for you to investigate. I think the point we're making is giving up on a bike, especially one that you've invested a lot of time and money into, is never an easy decision to make. And it's very, very easy for me to say, oh, never give up on it. Because even after all these years, I still love wrenching on bikes. And I'm pretty good at it. You know, if you struggle a little bit and perhaps you feel you're not as skilled, you might not get the same pleasure out of working on bikes as I do. But giving up a bike, it's like giving up on a person, and I don't think we'd ever want to do that.
There is a third option,
which is
have somebody else rebuild the motor. That way you're not feeling responsible for it. You're paying for it, obviously, but at least then there's some kind of...
I have option 3.5.
Awesome.
And I have been there with my CB750 that had 2 engine rebuilds and needed a third. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of emotional steam with it.
Right.
Have a buddy come join you. Make it have a friend come over and turn it into a thing.
Second set of eyes.
You need that emotional steam, so turn it into a fun project.
I mean, I remember meeting Ethan when we were up in Portland. I mean, I'm not sure if he's part of the CC Coffee crowd. I think he certainly knows them peripherally. There is no shortage of old bike enthusiasts in Portland. So it shouldn't be hard to find a second set of eyes just to look through. And remember, you're not rebuilding a whole engine because your whole engine isn't toast. You've just got to figure out, why is this thing not pumping oil up to the top end?
But Emma, like you said earlier, take it apart, go through everything, do it with a friend, have it all set out, but you got to build up that steam.
Right.
So turn it into fun.
Understand how the oil moves through the engine and why it failed. Because it strikes me that there's some missing piece of understanding of how the oil circulates through the engine that Ethan's missing that's causing him to repeat. Because, yes, the 450 is quite a complex, fragile engine, but it should still hold itself together for about 10, 12, 15,000 miles at least.
Perform the autopsy.
Yes.
First step, perform the autopsy.
And work backwards.
Yeah.
So this is what happened.
Yeah.
We've got a seized camshaft. So now work backwards all the way to the oil pump.
Yep.
All right, Scott, do you have one there to read?
I do. Just on that last one, just one final comment. Getting the thing fixed, even if you decide to move it on afterwards, could be a real satisfying life experience. With my ST1300, I did 2 alternators in the thing, and then I had a little coolant leak afterward that I had the dealer help me with because I was just tired of looking at it. But it was fix it or, worth something, or it's just garbage, right, and it's scrap. So that was how I moved on from the ST. All right, back in SV land, big SV theme. I've got a couple experiences with these things. One out in Deals Gap area, that was a lot of fun, and then a friend's bike that I fostered too, so I'm kind of familiar with these. So this is from Joe Moore, SV650, and Unfulfilled Expectations. Oh
dear.
Yeah. So Joe says,
as opposed to unfulfilled expectations or filled underpants.
I was going to say that's better.
Well, he doesn't say anything about the underpants here, but
but we talked about an underpant filling moment earlier.
Don't forget, unfulfilled underpants is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have kind of a related comment. The SV650 I fostered intended to put my nuts to sleep, but that doesn't have anything to do with this.
I like the idea of unfulfilled underpants.
So Joe says...
That's unfulfilled rubber underpants. It might be that.
He says, hey, folks, started listening this year, and glad I found the podcast. I've been riding for a couple years at this point, and have been absorbing all the information and skill I can. Started on a 2017 CBR 500R and rode until an oncoming driver in some twisties decided they wanted more of my lane than I had.
Bastard.
Yeah. So once I healed up, he says in parentheses, only got a 6-inch gash on my lower leg. I found a 3rd gen SV650 for the cheap price of $5,000. Well maintained, only 2K miles. After a few months,
wow.
Let's see, I started looking into the infamous SV650 aftermarket and found not much, to be honest. There are plenty of mods for track duty, up to and including the Hot Bodies race fairing kit and thousands of dollars worth of suspension bits. This being my second bike, I'm not in a position or availability to track this thing. So far, I'm treating it as...
You didn't bring your glasses, did you?
I didn't. You can tell. You can tell I'm playing trombone
do
here.
Do you need Emma to help you with that?
I think we can do it as a team effort here.
I think we can, darling. Where are you up to?
I'm treating it as a transitional product.
There you go.
Swapped the pegs and levers, added a top box, and, it's more a half-assed V-Strum now.
Yeah.
While the SV historically is a magnificent starting point, the 3rd gen definitely doesn't live up to the aftermarket hype unless you're going whole hog on it. Keep up the great work. I'll continue trying to love my SV Strum.
Oh.
So, no,
SV Strum.
And I mean that's quite a valid point. As good as SVs are, I would say that the Gen 3 is actually a far more sanitary product than the 1 or the 2. I mean, it's. Oh God, I'm going to stick my neck out here. It's a better bike because it's a developed bike, but that doesn't necessarily mean you get that raw feeling
soul.
Less
than you
visceral.
do with the one,
Sure,
and to a lesser extent the two. It's like a first edition book. And, you know, from a collector standpoint, we always go for the first edition because even though they tend to be flawed motorcycles, and some of the carburation on those Gen 1 SVs is like, God blimey, what were they thinking? But if you get it right, they're absolutely glorious. But, you know, remember, the Gen 3 has to comply with Euro 3, Euro 4, and all DOT laws, which are getting far more stringent than they were back in the late 90s when the Gen 1 came out. So it has to be a little less power, it has to be and so on and so forth. But they are a fine machine. And I wouldn't have any hesitation to put someone on one. Or a Gladius. If a Gladius is a great bike, and I will say that on record, there is nothing wrong with a Gladius at all. The styling is polarizing. But if you get rid of the headlight, they're actually not half bad. I know the plastic cladding on the side of the fairing's hokey, but if you put a conventional headlight on a Gladius, it's a good-looking bike.
I'll tell you, I found the solution to the Gladius, and that's what you do is you take the Gladius, you take the fuel cap off and replace everything underneath it with an SV650.
I liked the SV650. The one I had was probably a first gen back east. Yeah, I mean, that thing would really eat a lot of gas, and it did not carburate especially smooth. But my buddies that I fostered and then sold for him, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I have a question. Is the issue with aftermarket parts because of the difference in the different generations?
Yeah, I mean, you know, inevitably, if you're going to sell aftermarket parts, you always go for a bike that you're going to sell more parts of.
Yeah, it depends how many units are out
Right,
there.
many units are out there. And the Gen 1 SV was just so stupidly popular. I mean, it's so easy to get aftermarket parts because there was a gazillion of them out there. The Gen 2, not so much, but still quite a popular bike. By the time the Gen 3 came along, it's really just insiders who were buying the things.
But yeah, think about the market for a Gen 3. By the time the Gen 3 hit showroom floors, for that kind of money, you could have bought a more traditional sport bike from a couple of years prior in the used market. And so for those that were looking for power, for cool guy, whatever, you know, they were buying a GSXR, they were buying anything but a Gen 3. And so the market is shrinking with each generation because those that love the bike already have a Gen 1 or 2, and those that are going to spend that kind of money are going to want more bike for their money.
It was funny, you know, I remember back at Monterey Peninsula, the SVs, the Gen 3s kind of stuck in the showroom a little bit. And when they were bought, they were always bought by people who kind of knew. It was kind of an insider's bike. But they always kind of hung around because as pretty as they are, if you've got an SV sitting in a lineup of ZX6s or R6s or Gixxers, you know, she's kind of like the ugly duckling a little bit.
Sell it and get a Bandit 1200.
Now that's a bike.
There you go.
That'll wake you up.
All right, Patrick, you got one?
Yes, I do. This is Matthew coming from the Maine woods. What's up, Misfits?
Hey.
Surely you mean Mathieu.
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 Yeah, we're getting very French over here. So what's up,
Right.
Misfits? Matt coming here at you from the Maine woods. On last week's show, Zach
Yes.
was asking about good roads to ride in Western Massachusetts. So Matthew's recommending to check out New England Riders at www.newenglandriders.org.
Yeah, thank you for that tip.
Yeah.
And I did forward that to
the
Zach.
tip.
Ah.
Just the tip.
All right.
Well, you know, a little bit of tip here.
I think we have time for one more email, and we're going to go to the best email reader of all time, Bagel.
Bagler.
Yes.
What you got there, Bagel?
I have an email here from Jason Mercier.
Hey, Jason.
And Jason writes, hey, Misfits. Jason writing from Ontario, Canada again.
Oh, sure.
You guys and
What a
gals.
hoser.
You guys and gals are still the bright spot in my list of podcasts while I listen to while at work. The mix of knowledge, humor, and general shenanigans always keeps me interested. Thanks to all the times you mentioned the Cleveland Moto podcast, I've even started listening to them.
Hey.
Who?
But for the record, Motorcycles and Misfits is still way better. I currently ride a 2015 Kawasaki Vulcan 900
Oh, that's a
Custom,
good bike.
which I love. I know it's a cruiser, but I need your opinion. My neighbor picked up a late 80s, maybe early 90s Honda Interceptor last year with the intent of getting into riding. He had mentioned knowing it needs a carb rebuild, but hasn't had the time to even start doing anything to it. Yesterday, he said in passing that he is likely going to sell the bike due to lack of time. So, in your opinion, do I want it?
Yes.
It looks good on the surface,
No.
but at this point, I don't know exactly what it needs. I do want it.
Your ass in its seat.
If I do want it, what would you say it's worth, and where would you draw the line for any work it may need? Thanks, Jason.
Don't do it.
That is so much. There's so much that's not there. Late 80s, early 90s.
So, the Interceptor is arguably the finest bike that Honda ever made. And that period from late 80s to very early 90s really should be the best. Really should be the best. These were absolutely the glory years for
There were
the VFRs.
big advances in the power.
Big advances in the power. What you're going to end up with is 120, 125 horsepower bike that's got proper size wheels, proper size rubber, proper size brakes. It will ride. You know, I always wax lyrical about how well Rufus rides. You know, the only argument against some of these bikes from that era is they are a bit porky. They're all about 50 to 100 pounds overweight. But as long as you know what you're doing in the curves, yeah, right. You know, you can compensate for that. But they basically, as an antique piece, as a 30-year-old piece, they ride very, very well. And Rufus and a VFR are very, very similar riding bikes. They're similar amount of power, similar getting down the road. So it's a glorious bike.
But,
However,
there it is.
but it's a carburetted bike, and there is no worse bike to do the carbs on than a V4 Honda. There's a lot of carburation in a very, very small amount of real estate. The heat generation in that V is tremendous. So all the rubber parts in your carbs are going to be cooked, including the O-rings that go on the balance pipes between them. There is nothing more disheartening than building a set of carbs and having all the bridge pipes leak on you because the O-rings are cooked. All the intake rubbers are going to be cooked.
And hard as wood, right?
Yeah, and getting them off, it's... Ugh. But, so I haven't got the answer for him.
I have the answer. I personally avoid bikes of that age, sport bikes of that age. I like if you go a few years older when they're open, you can get access to everything. That's a bike you can wrench on, have fun. It's an antique bike. You're not going to ride any distance on it. You get on a bike like that, that's a performance bike that no longer performs to the standards of a 20-year-old CBR, you know? But it's going to require so much work, and everything is so tight and compact.
So let me give the over and under.
It's hard to work on.
Absolutely. Let me give the over and under on this. That bike is so goddamn sexy in the red, white, and blue livery that would be enough for me to make the decision. But if it's in any other livery or color, fuck it, walk away.
Right. That is a bike that whoever buys that bike is somebody who has two other Interceptors in their garage.
For real. For real.
But they're so glorious when they're running well.
But you need to be familiar with them. You need to you have it because you love it and you're going to wrench on it. That is not a bike for somebody to have a sport bike they're going to try out.
Yeah.
For someone who's looking to go on a learning curve, that might be a good one to.
Well, I mean, it all boils down to price, and it all boils down to how much money and time you're willing to invest. If you want to learn about what the Japanese were doing with sport bikes in the late 80s, early 90s, it's a great place to start.
That's a bit of a niche quest.
Right. But the point is, be prepared. You're going to throw time at it. You're going to throw money at it. And you're going to throw frustration at it. There are easier bikes to dip your toe into those waters with, but there are very few that are better.
I would like to, in closing, say, I think it would be a big mistake. See what I did there?
Yes.
I brought it full circle. And this is a mistake that many of us have learned. I've just learned on bikes of that age, it's incredibly hard to work on, but they're going to require all that work.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a sport bike, why don't you get an SV650 Gen 1? Hey, I brought that back around too.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. No, I think I avoid, and I love GPZs. I'm avoiding, I wouldn't buy a GPZ.
Surely, Liza, you mean GPZs.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
So there you go. I hope we answered that. Thank you, everyone, for sending us your emails. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, hey, send us your emails and let us know what mistakes you guys have made.
If your biggest mistake is listening to this podcast, you need to reevaluate your life.
and I would like to clarify.
Or you could kill yourself.
When I say you guys, that is the California version. I could also say you dudes, which means all genders.
Well, dude.
It's all y'all.
Dude.
Right, yeah.
No,
dudes,
dude
it's all
isn't.
genders.
It isn't even gender. I mean, I call my toaster dude.
Yeah,
For those
It's
of you,
like everything is dude.
so in Texas it's y'all, and in Jersey it's use guys.
Use guys.
Use guys.
Well, and if you go in Boston, it's just guises.
Use guys?
Yes,
And
use guises.
if you're in Western Pennsylvania, it's yins.
Yins, yes, exactly. So, Yins, send us your emails and let us know about mistakes you've made and lessons you have learned. Let's pass that on, because the reality is we all make these mistakes. We just try and pass on our knowledge and keep people from making them. Yet it never seems to work, and I bet you he'll get that interceptor.
Well, people are always going to make mistakes, but when we
It's
we
part of
spread
the
this
process.
knowledge, we can at least hopefully save a few people from making a few mistakes.
It's part of the process. So, also next weekend, some of us are going to be. Who's going to the races?
That's 2 weeks away. We
Shoot,
already went over this.
2 weeks. Sorry.
2 weeks.
Next week
weekend is Independence Weekend.
It's Independence Day. Weekend after that is the races.
So hang on. When do you want me to run the garage?
Next weekend, you're running garage.
Next weekend, I'm running the garage.
Yes.
So the following weekend, I can go
The
to
races.
the races.
We're going on Saturday. Are you going to go Sunday too?
I might.
Okay.
The back entrance is like 100 yards from her house.
I know. For goodness sake. Oh, it's going to be so
Nice.
much fun. So, hey, hopefully you're coming out to Moto America.
Oui.
Let us know if you are.
I'm not.
I saw a heads up that at least Yamaha is going to be there with test ride bikes. So there's an opportunity to come try the Tenere 700.
Can I try the Nikon?
No, they didn't bring it. But the Tenere 700, I enjoyed it, but also I was able to rule it out as not a bike for me.
Yeah, I've ridden a couple,
Yeah.
and as good a bike as it is, I don't see myself buying an adventure bike anytime soon.
No. Well, how about let's end this thing and you can go on your adventure back home.
Tra-la-la.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. Especially thank you to our Patreon subscribers.
Who are easily the finest people in humanity.
I'm going to be making...
And Brad.
And Brad.
And
I'm
Brad.
gonna be making another announcement soon. I'm going to be spending some more Patreon money. I spent some of it today, but I'm not ready to make the
She's
announcement
talking
yet.
big bucks now.
She's taking me to the strip club.
But again, thanks to all of our listeners. We appreciate it. This is why we do it. No, we do it because we just love the sound of our own voices, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just like to hear myself talk.
No, and thanks to the Stunt Misfits. Yeah, thank you to the Stunt Misfits for filling in. Hopefully, John will quit crapping his pants and come next weekend and tell us his story.
That's why we call him Hotshot.
Fully fulfilled trousers. Fully fulfilled trousers.
Yes, he's the fully fulfilled underpants. Oh, poor John.
All right, thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
This is Patrick.
Emma, darling.
Scott.
And Michael.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Go.
Cool.